Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Douglas and Diggers of all ages, today, Dak908, yours truly, am bringing you a new kind of thing. So today, I'm actually going to be interviewing really cool people, really cool monster hunters, you know, the YouTubers, the guys that, you know, you watch the videos and whatnot. And today, I got my man Ryan LV, shout out to the big homie here, who decided that he would actually accompany me on our maiden voyage through this series, if you will. Ryan, shout outs to the people.
Hey, how are y'all doing? Long time no see. I know it's been a minute since Dak and I have got to work on something together, so I'm really excited to be here and to get to work with Dak again.
Absolutely. You guys may know him quite well, but how well do you really know him, you know? So that's what we're doing. In this particular series, I'm delving quite deep. I mean, yeah, you talk to your favorite YouTubers and whatnot, you get to learn what they like, but let's get a little deeper sometimes. We're going to get the common questions out the way for those who are kind of new to the person, you know. Then we'll get to a couple of deeper questions, some little zany questions and whatnot. And hopefully you can leave this video with a greater understanding of whom this person actually is, or what they like in Monster Hunter, that is. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, Ryan, where do you start your Monster Hunter journey? What was your first Monster Hunter game?
Okay, so this is kind of an interesting question because, like, I have two answers. So technically, my first Monster Hunter game was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, but I didn't make it past the fish tutorial because I was a dumb kid and I just could not get past it for whatever reason. I couldn't understand the game at all. So I pretty much played 3 Ultimate up to that point and stopped. But then my friend told me that, hey, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate's coming out, you should try it. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I downloaded it the night it came out. And I played it, instantly fell in love with the game, and ever since I've been playing Monster Hunter. So technically it's 3 Ultimate, but I really say it's 4 Ultimate because that's the game that actually got me into the series.
I can respect that. I myself have a very similar story. But I do like how you started one way and then gave it a shot shortly afterwards. Some people, they get the first taste and they don't really get it and they never touch it again. So I'm glad you gave it another shot.
Yeah, I am too. I think things would be a lot different if I hadn't.
You probably wouldn't even continue playing Monster Hunter today. So that's what's up. Okay, so how did you hear about it? And what drew you towards the game?
So actually, I had heard about Monster Hunter quite a bit because I had 2 or 3 friends in, I think it was lower school or elementary school and middle school where I first really kind of heard about it. And it was because I was playing through Shadow of the Colossus at the time, and I said that Shadow of the Colossus bosses were some of the biggest and most flashy bosses I had ever, like, gotten to experience ever. And my friends were like, oh, you think that's big? You think those bosses are cool? You should play Monster Hunter. And I'm like, what's that? They told me about it and everything like that. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, I'll have to check it out. So me and my other friend a few years later, like I think 6th or 7th grade for me, we played 3 Ultimate. He had it on the 3DS, and I had it on the Wii U. And we both tried playing it, and we both got stuck at that same part and just gave up. And then, as I said earlier, I was talking to another friend online about Monster Hunter again. It just came up because I was talking about Shadow of the Colossus. He told me to check out 4 Ultimate, and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll check it out. Then I went against Darren Morin, and, well, the rest is history.
You know, that is one heck of a way to open up somebody's like first experience to Monster Hunter, starting your entire game off with that monster quest. You couldn't defeat it, but you got a taste of it. You're like, whoa, that was epic. What was that right there? Do we get to kill it? And the answer is yes. Not right now, you're not ready, but soon. That's expert. That's truly genius. So shout outs to Capcom for actually introducing a lot of people into the series through that method. And honestly, I was kind of drawn into Monster Hunter roughly the same way as well. Now, how would you describe your hunting style?
Well, whenever I actually am playing Monster Hunter for videos or playing it, like, you know, to talk about a topic or whatever I need to do for the game, I will practice and kind of actually try a lot more and, like, try to do a little bit more strategy. Typically, when I play casually, I will just, you know, I'll just have fun with the game and try doing cool combos when I can, or just, like, you know, try to typically go for the head since I'm a hammer user, and then whenever I use longsword, go for the tail. But I just try. I would call myself, in a nutshell, the brave hunting art from Monster Hunter, but like for all the games, just where I just attack nonstop and like try to, because I'm a very aggressive like game, or not gamer. I don't want to say that, sounds really cringy. An aggressive like fighter, I guess, in video games typically, and I like to get as many attacks in as I can. So that's what I typically try to do with longsword and hammers. I try to get as many attacks in, even if that means I get hit once or twice, and I'm totally fine with that because I'm trying to get as many hits in as I can. That's the way I like to do it. But again, whenever it's more like streaming and more, or not streaming, but more like working on a video and actually need to look good, I'll like be more strategic with the way that I attack.
Okay, I get that. A blend of both, depending on the situation. A very adaptive hunter. I myself, unknowingly, have been known to be incredibly adaptive as the hunt drags on. I always start slow, but then always pick up the pace, really learning and countering a lot of the monsters' mechanics, even monsters I've never even seen before. So I greatly appreciate that. A lot of hunters, they don't really play that way. Most just go in Unga Bunga style and just increase the carting. But yeah, that's actually really good. Now, are there any changes that you've seen in the series that are a step in the right direction?
So there are 2 or 3. I have 3 changes that I really enjoyed. I'll say the first 2 that aren't controversial, and then I'll say the controversial one for the end. So I like, obviously, mounting is a great thing that I really think changed the series forever. Once it was introduced in 4 Ultimate, all the other games were just, the way you fought monsters were completely different. Because in previous games, you would obviously try to hit like its head or like other spots, but it would be a little bit trickier for monsters like Elachion and like back in 3 Ultimate anyway, and behind 3 Ultimate. Mainly really 3 Ultimate for me, because that's really the only game I played where there wasn't mounting. But yeah, 3 Ultimate, it was really hard to hit heads. Like Plesioth's head, I remember, was always a pain in the ass when he wasn't in the water, and what else? Oh, Elachion, like I said before, and yeah, I just always thought that was kind of a pain in the ass. So whenever mounting was introduced, it was always like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I can hit the monster on the back, the wings, the head if I want to. And it adds, as the game developers say, more verticality to the fight instead of it just being flat, which is really nice. So yeah, mounting was a great change. And then recently with Iceborne, some people like it, some people don't, and I can understand both sides of the argument, but I really do like the openness of Iceborne's worlds. Although there are less maps in Iceborne than there are in typical Monster Hunter games, I'm fine with that because I really do like the aspect of like, it feels like, I don't know, exploring an open world, it just feels more realistic and more like Monster Hunter. Like, I said this to someone a few days ago because I was actually talking about this with someone. The change in Monster Hunter World to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, if you compare those 2 games, going to a big open world like that is... The change right now is like, it's like if they changed Pokemon, the Pokemon formula completely and flipped it on its head. Like, instead of 8 badges, you just have immediate access to the Elite Four, and you can go to any area in the game you want right at the get-go. It would be like if Pokemon did something that drastic, but for Monster Hunter. And it might not seem like it, because, you know, it's just like, it's no loading screens. And that is a big thing, because there's no loading screens. You can't, like, go and heal yourself in another room. You can't go hide. Like, the monster will always be able to get to you. And that's something I really like. Now, the last one that I really like was the underwater gimmick. I adore it. Now, I actually do kind of understand why people don't like it. If you were on the 3DS, it was ass. It was horrible. I understand that. But I played it on the Wii U, and I had the gamepad. I had really good functionality underwater, and I used hammer, so I didn't really have the issue of certain weapons not really working as well underwater, because I was using hammer, and hammer worked really well underwater. So I adored it. It brought more diversity to the monsters. There are some monsters that were created in the 3rd generation that we'll never see again just because of how unique they were. We got a lot of fish monsters, which is something that I think is really cool, and I wish that Monster Hunter would go back towards, because I really do think with modern day consoles that you could make underwater fights really good, especially with all the technology that they have now for the games and everything like that. I don't know. I just really like monsters like Gobel, Sideus, like Lagiacrus, and we'll probably see Lagiacrus again. I don't know. Probably not. We definitely won't see Gobel, and we'll never see Sideus or Goldhorn Sideus. Or Goldbeard, not Goldhorn. Goldbeard Sideus, just because of the way that, things are going now.
I can agree with essentially everything you said. Them opening up the world a bit, adding a bit of verticality in there, and the advent of the underwater combat. These were all fantastic things that opened the game to where it wasn't just easier to play, but felt more natural to play. If you go back right now and play some of the earlier games, they're still technically good games, but they feel stiff. It's almost as if adding these mechanics greased the wheels a bit, made it to where the games themselves felt literally more alive, and the environments you're in a lot more believable, inciting greater immersion, when in which there usually wasn't too much, because as outlandish as the game is, you fighting these giant monsters, these giant dragons, don't really feel all that believable. But now, where everything's a bit more fluid, it kind of does. So I really get down with that. I resonate with your exact opinions here. Now, for the final question here, we've been pretty professional today. This is a personal favorite question of mine. Good sir, how do you feel about herbs?
How do I feel about herbs?
Yes, the herbs in Monster Hunter. How do you feel about them?
Well, do the herbs also count as like mushrooms and stuff like that? Or is it just like healing herbs and antidote herbs?
Just the healing herbs. Green herbs. The good old-fashioned herbs.
I think that they're nice, that they're really kind of obvious. Okay, when I say they're nice, they're obsolete.
It's an atrocity. That's what it is. They took out my herbs and in place made it to where I couldn't use them to regain health. That minuscule, that tiny amount of health, I needed that in my life. Now they automatically turn them into potions.
Wait, you can't heal with herbs?
You cannot heal with herbs in the world anymore.
I actually didn't know that.
See, it's a terrible thing. I heal with herbs all the time. I need those in my life. This is...
Oh my gosh. That's really unfortunate.
It is what it is. So you have no idea. I was so hurt. It's like my favorite thing, and they disrespected me by taking it out. I can sit here and tell you all the stories about how I was on my last potion and that monster was not being close to being killed yet. But I take that potion, truck on, get hit, and reach down in my item bag, deep down in that item bag, and pull out an herb. And I knew that this quest was going to end favorably because I knew that the herbs had my back.
They ruined herbs. Like, I honestly, I didn't even know that. Just like, I don't know. I just feel like the takeaway. Okay, I just remembered something that I want to. So a step backwards was the fact that there's way less crafting in Monster Hunter. You really don't need to do it that much anymore because you have the wheel or whatever where you can just win a bunch of things. You don't have to go and craft them anymore. Just like the herbs. Like you can't. I have 140 mega potions and like 100 honey, and like I don't even have to go out to go grind that anymore. Like it's just like stuff I just get for doing random missions or like trying to get like celestial tickets and stuff like that.
The game's too easy. It really is. It's the problem. The only thing I craft are mega potions and bomb pluses. That's literally it. But with that said, everyone, thank you, Ryan, so much for being in the interview.
Thank you for having me.
It was a good thing. A lot of people they got to learn a little bit about you. Maybe some of your own followers didn't know maybe all these things. Nevertheless, with that said, everyone, thank you all for watching. Also, if you have any particular questions you'd like for me to give some of these interviewees, let me know in the comment section. I'll pick out the best ones. With that being said, Ryan, of course, any last words?
Well, I just want to say thank you again for having me. It's always really fun to get to work with you and do Monster Hunter stuff. So, yeah, I guess thank you again for having me. And if you want to check out... Oh, I forgot I had to do the plug thing, I guess. If you want to check out some of my stuff, I'm actually working on Know Your Bosses. Again, if you guys know who I am and you know what Know Your Bosses. That's something that I work on. It's like a series thing. Anyway, I'm making the 3rd season Know Your Bosses, and it's going to be coming out very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, I do a lot of Monster Hunter content, so if you're interested in that, please check out RedLeopardVideos. Alright, plug out of the way.
I feel that. No worries. Well, thank you everyone, and I'll see y'all next time.